Hey YouTube, welcome back to another Express Lane video. Today what we did is we rolled our random number generator and ended up on Guardian, which is primary tank and secondary tank. So when you double down on tank, what you end up with is the Guardian. So the really cool thing about tanks in Ashes of Creation is when you look them up on the wiki, it shows you that there will be three primary ways to build a tank. There will be your shield tank, there will be your evasion tank, and a control tank. So already I think that gives us a really cool, well, in-game that gives us really neat options for what, to me, is a typically boring role as a tank. However, when it comes to role-playing, having those three options when you're building a tank really lets you flavor this however you want. So now that we doubled down on tank, our goal was to find a race, one that we hadn't used yet. So it was a human race, but it was a Vaelune, which is a Middle Eastern-inspired human race in Intrepid Studios' Ashes of Creation. Now these guys, while they are devoid of resources living in the desert, they are your trade princes, your trade princesses, your mercenary princes. You know, they became the center hub of trading as a race would go in Vera. So we had to figure out what we wanted to do with the tank as a Vaelune. And whenever I think of like a Middle Eastern inspired race in any tabletop game, the first thing that pops in my head is a dancing dervish. Now, while usually those are DPS classes, the fact that you can have an evasion tank made me go, well, why don't I just do that? And so I combined them, and in my head, we came up with an evasion tank that was like dancing dervish inspired. So imagine dancing and moving. Obviously, if you get hit, you're still tank, so you're hardy, but you're dancing and moving around all of these strikes and goading the opponents while you're doing it, so getting the aggro. But, you know, you're threatening and you're doing all that jazz, managing the aggro while dancing around them in and out of battle, striking here and there, all while keeping their attention. That seems great to me. That seems like a very fun way to play a tank. It seems like playing a tank like that would actually keep me interested in playing a tank. So this might actually be a archetype that I try to transport over into a tabletop game, because that actually might get me to play a frontliner. Usually the only frontliners I play is a barbarian, because I just get to go and swing and smash stuff. You know? So with that idea, then we had to come up with a name, right? So they are Middle Eastern inspired, so we went looking for a name, and we came out with Akeem. And then the last name, we had a little hard time coming up with anything profound or really cool, so we just took the fact that he's in plate mail or steel or iron, you know, just like a hardy metal, a heavy metal to deal with being a tank, and then they're from the desert, so we put sand. Not my most creative, it's not a home run when it comes to creativity, right? However, the name Akeem Ironsand really feels like it's neat, right? It feels like it encompasses everything we want this character to be. And when we came up with that, then we started trying to come up with a nickname. What if he was called the Armored Scorpion? You know, there are scorpions, they strike, one lethal strike, moving around the sand. We thought that was really neat. Now, it doesn't quite play into the dancing dervish inspired, but we thought the Armored Scorpion was really neat. And then we just talking about it, we came out with a really cool tagline, because as a dervish, you're dancing in and you're dancing out and you're goading your opponents. You know, you're kind of an asshole maybe. So we said he would have a big personality but an even bigger shield. We thought it was really cool, and we thought all of that worked really together to give life to this character. It was a really fun session. I'll put the full one on YouTube as well. So thanks for coming around and checking out Akeem Ironsand, the Armored Scorpion. Big personality, even bigger shield. Thanks for coming by the Express Lane.